right, so finally we got this packaging that we've been waiting on for a while now. These are our cut forks from M2 Shocks, as you can see, and they are cut 3 inches and turned down. So let's get these out of the box. But yeah, I've always wanted to get a set of forks done, but never really had the right application to do it. I wanted a set for the H2, but didn't really want to, cut the H2 forks at that time. But since this booster is just a straight up drag bike, I figured instead of constantly strapping it down and having like 3 inches of fork through the top, let's just get them cut and get them done right. So that's what we did. And you guys can see it. Ooh. There we go. Yeah. You see it? All right. Get this out of here. Set that one right there. Let's get the other one out. There we go. Put that down there. All right. And like I said, this was just a set of eBay forks that I ordered and sent out to them. These aren't the ones that were on the bike. The ones that are on the bike were on the bike over there. So we're gonna weigh these and then the OEM ones and see if any weight was actually saved. Okay, so before we get the shocks installed, what I want to do is I want to weigh the OEM forks versus these cut forks. Okay, so let's go ahead and take one of these over. All right, zeroed out. Let's hook it. All right, what do we got? So hard to see. 8.53. So this is the other OEM fork, and it's showing 8.38. All right. All right, so now let's weigh these forks. Reset. All right. So 7.61. Yeah, 7.61. Oh. And let's do the other one. Zero. All right. And the last one, 7.61. 7.61. All right, so we got the forks in. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get them put in the bike, or at least set in the bike, and then possibly get the front wheel back on so we can put the bike on the ground and then adjust where we want it at. All right, so for those that don't know, so these are cut and turn down forks. So if you're running a turn down fork, you have to have these little cups right here, unless you have the aftermarket lower triple, and that's just so that you can still clamp on it, even because it's turned down to a smaller size. So that's what these cups are for, and it makes it so that later on down the line you don't have to send your forks back in to get redone to like a different size. Like I said, this is just test fitting them, or just sitting them in there so I can start like test fitting how everything's gonna go back on and get them at the height that I want as well. What I want to do now is I want to get this DME upper triple put on so I can gauge where I want the forks to be at now. So let me do that. As you can see, we got the cut forks installed, and they're semi-set to where I want them at. But what I can do now is put the bike back up in the air, take the front wheel off so I can grease the axle, and then get everything put in, everything torqued back down. And then after that, what I want to do is I want to test fit the radiator and see how much room I'm gonna have for fans and how everything's gonna line up after that. All right, so this is the radiator, and I bought this radiator off of eBay. It was a brand new, advertised as a Hayabusa replacement radiator for the Gen 2. It was a full radiator that I sent the DME to have them cut, and it turned out pretty good. So it's gonna help with the clearance in the front since we're lowering the bike. The front fender clip, because I still want to run my front fender. So it's over here. Let me get that and test fit it on. Alright, so I just put these two screws in and put it in place, and look at how much clearance we got. And it's gonna be tough. Don't have much clearance between the fender and the radiator, but we only need an inch. Alright, so I keep forgetting how rigid these forks are. They still have an inch of travel, like I was saying. It's not as easy to compress them as it is the stock forks. So we're actually good where we're at right there. All right, so as you see, I still got the OEM front rack, and the reason is because right now I don't feel like this is not that heavy. I don't feel like the weight savings of spending however much it is for the aluminum rack one, the OEM style, is worth it right now, when in the future I'm gonna be looking at putting a fuel cell and the battery up here. And I just wanted to sit that on there because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the front fairing and sit it on here as well, because I need to check the side fairings and see what kind of clearance I got under the bottom, because it's either I shave the OEM fairings down under the bottom if need be, or I have to switch to the Pro Street style side fairings, or a 3-cut, 3/4 cut or half cut, whichever one it is, those race fairings. So, and I really don't want to go to the 3/4, or is it 3/4, 3/4 or half, whichever one it is. I really don't want to go to that. I don't really like the look of the lower exposed motor and exhaust. So I kind of want to stick to the OEM look where everything is kind of enclosed in the fairings. So I'm gonna leave that on there for now. This is a straight link for the rear. And this is also another piece from DME. Like I said, for me changing this, they sell one that's kind of a little bit more angled as opposed to straight like this.